There's a gap you've never looked at directly. It lasts less than a second. By the time a thought arrives to name it, it's already gone. This happens dozens of times a minute. Between one thought and the next, there's a space, quiet, empty of everything you call yourself. You've heard that you are not your thoughts, enough times that it stopped landing. But here's what nobody asked. Where are you when there's no thought at all? And I don't mean who, I mean where. Because if thoughts are what you use to locate yourself, I'm anxious, I'm tired, I'm searching. Then in the moment before the next thought appears, something is still here, aware, but with no name, no story. Think of this I as the space where all thoughts arise and dissolve. That's Atmananda Krishna Menon. He spent decades pointing at that space, as the ground you were tishaning, already standing on, before any search began. I'm not going to teach you how to get there. I want to point at something that's already happening, something you've been moving past, without stopping. There's a reason this gap goes unnoticed. The mind's entire movement is forward. One thought finishes, and another begins, before you've registered the space between them. This happens automatically, without any decision on your part. The gap opens and closes, and attention never rests there, because attention itself is a movement, and movement always has somewhere to go. Watch it now if you can. A thought appears, it runs its course, and before you've fully registered that it ended, another one is already forming. The mind fills the space the way water fills a crack, not because it's forced to, but because that's what it does. And so, the gap remains, present every time, unvisited every time. You've been in it though, in the second after waking, before the day assembles itself, in the pause after a conversation ends, and you haven't yet decided what you think about it, in the moment after a deep exhale, before the next breath becomes something to manage. Something is present in those moments that isn't made of thought, quiet, not peaceful in the way you try to be peaceful, just still, the way a room is still when no one is moving through it. You've felt it. You moved on before you could name it, and the moving on felt natural, because that's what the mind does. But notice what that means. Every time you've been in that space, the mind arrived and called it nothing, a gap, a pause, an absence of something real, and then filled it with the next thought, and the next, and the next, as though the space itself had no value, no content, nothing worth staying for. What if the mind has been wrong? Wrong about that? What if the space isn't an absence of experience, but the most direct experience available? And the thought that arrives to name it is the thing that covers it? Atmananda pointed at this with unusual precision. He said, between two thoughts, you are in your true nature. He wasn't pointing at something to approach from a distance. He was pointing at where you already are. For that fraction of a second, there is no seeker, no practice, no progress. There is only awareness, resting in itself. And then, the thought arrives, and you become someone again. This happens constantly, dozens of times a minute. The gap opens and closes, dozens of times a minute. Pure awareness is present, asking nothing, requiring nothing, and dozens of times a minute, a thought covers it over, and the search continues. The search continues, as though what's being searched for isn't already present, between each of its own steps. Here's what's worth looking at more carefully. Every thought you've ever had arose somewhere. It appeared, ran its course, and dissolved. The thought, I need to find peace. Where did it appear? The thought, I've been practicing for years and nothing has changed. Where did that one land? The thought arising right now, as these words reach you. Where is it happening? Atmananda's answer was precise. Every thought arises and sets in pure consciousness. What is not pure consciousness is only a form of thought. The gap between thoughts isn't a hole in your experience. It's the ground of it. Awareness isn't what's left when thought disappears. It's what thought appears within. Each thought arises in it, moves through it, dissolves back into it, and it remains, unchanged. You have never not been in it. Sit with that for a moment. Every state of confusion you've ever been in, it arose in this. Every moment of clarity, also this. Every practice, every insight, every long stretch of feeling stuck and going nowhere, all of it appeared within the same awareness that's present right now. That was present before this video began. That will be present after the last thought of the day dissolves into sleep. Nothing that has ever appeared in your experience has altered what's aware of it. The awareness that's here now is the same awareness that was here before you knew any of these teachings, before you started searching, before you had a word for any of this. It has not grown through your practice. It has not diminished through your confusion. It has simply remained, the way a mirror remains unchanged by every face that appears in it. This is what Atmananda meant by freedom, the recognition that what you are has never been in a prison. The assumption worth questioning isn't subtle. It's been operating so close to you that it never looked like an assumption at all. The assumption is this, that you need a thought to be here. That without a thought, there's nothing. No you, no experience, just blank absence. And so the gap between thoughts feels like a small interruption, something to pass through quickly on the way to the next thing. Look at it again. In the gap, something is still present. Not a thought about presence. Presence itself. Awareness without an object. And if awareness is present in the gap, if something is here even when no thought is here, then awareness and thought are not the same thing. Awareness doesn't depend on thought to exist. Thought depends on awareness to appear, which means the gap isn't where you disappear. It's where you appear most clearly, stripped of everything added. Atmananda put it simply, between two thoughts, two feelings, two actions, two perceptions, absolute reality shines by itself. Not after years of practice, not in a special state. Between, right there, in the ordinary interval that the mind crosses without stopping, you before the story begins. The question worth sitting with isn't how to extend the gap, or how to make it permanent, or how to carry it into daily life. Those questions all assume you're standing outside something you're trying to enter. The question is simpler and stranger. If awareness is present between every thought, if it was there before this video started, and here, as these words are heard, and here in the moment before the next thought forms, then what exactly have you been searching for? And who has been doing the searching?